Hi, everyone. This is the CS and PM monthly, and we're going to go ahead and get started with some product updates. So I've added it to the agenda, but the Thread Insights priorities for 17.0 to 17.11 is now live. There is a significant amount of work that rolled over from Thread Insights priorities from 16.0 to 16.11. But what I did is I broke down the work a little bit more because there were epics where part of the work was done and then part of it rolled over. And I wanted to highlight that a little bit better. And this way we can also better keep track of the completed items. And I'm working closely with engineering to get those estimates for when those will be delivered. So yeah, go ahead and take a look at what we have coming up. And the next thing is, I'm sure you're all aware, we're working on performance improvements for the group vulnerability report and the dependency list. I linked those epics of what we are working on in the first iteration so that those epics that are linked are on track to be completed in 17.0. So we're hoping to see a lot of gain and a lot of improvement in that 17.0 milestone. Sarah, you have the next one.
On it. We recently renamed DAST API to API security testing to try to reduce some confusion around feature names, and also because we are starting to invest a lot more in API security testing. So after 17.0, once proxy-based DAST is removed, we'll actually only have one feature that refers to DAST, which hopefully simplifies things for customers and for the field. We've also been working on a number of browser-based DAST crawler performance improvements over the past quarter. We know that performance of the crawler has become a blocker in at least 3 deals. And so in 16.11, we're making an update that improves performance by around 20% according to our benchmark test. Joe, you're up next.
There's my mute button. Yeah, so just a couple reminders for 17.0 with it coming up. Just a few reminders and deprecation breaking changes. The ability for the status to be changed on a vulnerability is going to be removed from developer role. We would recommend customers to create a custom role with base level developer plus admin vulnerability. And then also the custom role creation process will now move to the instance level versus doing it at the group namespaces only for self-managed instances only.
Can we pause for a second just because I want to really highlight this because we've
Yes.
Turned on the feature flag for some customers and also internally on some orgs, and it's definitely thrown people for a loop. So there's been warning about this. There's definitely people that want these custom roles, but I think when we actually make that transition, there might just be a little bit of confusion, and just wanted to really highlight it here. So yeah, Joe, thanks for adding this, but let's put it in bold and underlined and italics just to make sure everyone is aware.
Red, you missed red.
Red, yes, put it in red.
I don't think we have a red flag. Yeah, that's a good call out. And then upcoming permissions, compliance framework, security policies, runners, merge request settings, push rules, and deploy tokens. So those will be upcoming in the next few milestones. So just keep a heads up there, and I'll pass it over to Hannah.
All right. Hello. Some updates from Auth. I wanted to just call out a most impactful to customers. We are doing, I think, 7 or so removals in 17.0, but I think the one that could impact customers most is if they're using Azure OAuth. We had a gem we were maintaining. We're going to go back to the upstream gem. So in theory, if they're using this to log in and they don't move ahead of time, then they would lose their ability to log in. So I want to call this one out. We have a nice improvement to service accounts. I know customers are starting to pick these up and use them more and more. Previously, we had a hard-coded name. Now you can modify it, and in a soon, probably in 17.1, we're going to allow them to modify the email address for the service account as well. And then the last point, I just want to give a heads up that we're through our UX design for passkey support. You probably had some familiarity with this if you have Okta configured to use a passkey for your second factor, so you can log in using your fingerprint scan on your laptop, if you're on your phone, your face scan, or YubiKey. We're bringing this to our out-of-the-box authentication experience in GitLab. Just as a reminder, we still have like 70% of our customers not using an Okta or an IDP and instead using our built-in authentication. So we're bringing this to that. And we're planning on making it configurable, understanding that not everyone would want to enable this. But if you have customers who might find this interesting, I would love to show them what we have so far. And the issue itself has a lot of upvotes on it, so I do think there's interest here. So it might be something to just be aware of and possibly bring up. Any questions for me? All right, over to you, John.
Thanks, Hannah. Yeah, so for composition analysis, I just want to call out in 16.11, we'll be releasing support for dependency graphs in the Cyclone DX SBOM that is generated during a scan. So that's something quite a number of customers have asked about. I did want to call it out here. It is limited to, I think, 4 package managers, so NuGet, Yarn, and I'll update the doc with the other 2. I can't remember off the top of my head, but we are working on expanding those in the coming year to additional package managers. But right now we're limited to 4. If there's any questions or if there's any customer follow-ups, please reach out. I'm happy to chat at length with customers on this.
Great, thank you, everyone. I am going to go ahead and